Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Summer. So before I continue, I've been doing these ads to make you guys know that I sell these traditional wears, this Ankara styled clothes. Okay, this is a boo-boo and this is below knee boo-boo. It's not up to the ankle, it's not at the knee, it's below the knee. And so we have them in different colors, different designs, and different, you know, what's it called now, different, the same style. We have them the same style, we have them in different colors, but this one, I really love this one, you know. So I really love this one. We have different variety of styles. I've made videos showing you guys a lot of the styles of African dresses that we sell So feel free to contact that number there and place your orders. We deliver worldwide, right? We deliver worldwide. And also for the men that say Summer, you is only for women, we also have for men as well right now. All size, XS large, medium, all the different sizes. So feel free to place your orders on this WhatsApp number. It's WhatsApp number, and let us know the ones that you're interested in. So in today's video, I want to share something. So a lot of you know, you may not know. I'm gonna quickly give you tiny bit of a background. So a while back, I shared a story about how I crossed over. When I say crossed over to the other side. Some people call it near death experience. Some people call it whatever they want to call it. I call it I crossed over, and I shared the story here. And I saw my two late sisters. I don't want to go into all of that, but a lot of people do not seem to realize how much that can change a person. You know, it changed me a lot. Okay, now. And since then, a lot of you may have noticed the changes. My content creation wouldn't be like, you know, the way I used to. Like, I have stayed away from a lot of things that I used to do because for the first time in my life, I was forced to sit back and think about the fact that nobody knows when. I do not know when. That day could have been it. And I asked myself, if that was it, had I lived? Had I actually, when I say, did I live a life? And since then, I have made conscious effort to make sure that I actually begin to live a life. I'll be saying it in a few of my videos. So listen to what I'm about to say. That I have decided that I want to live before I live. As in, I want to L-I-V, to live a life, before I live, L-E-A-V-E, before I live this life. Okay, and that experience made me go to Nigeria for the first time in 14 years. I just wanted to go home, you know, after that happened. That thing, I can't explain it. It did something to me. And I wanted to go home. I went home. I fell in love with home. Nigeria, for those of you that may not know, I'm a Nigerian, okay? So, after I went home to visit, I just wanted to visit them. I went to my village and all of that. I shared it here. A lot of you may not have seen it. I put them in the link. I'll try and remember to put them in the link. And I decided to come home to Nigeria. And that was what I did. And I came home to Nigeria. So, and after that, I went back abroad and my life was not the same again. I decided I want to Jakpada. Jakpada is to basically migrate back home, okay? Stay home, stay in Nigeria. And there's something I want to address, okay? Because it's been happening a lot. So since I shared the story of Jakpada, for the longest time, I don't talk about my children on social media. I kept them off social media. I made that choice for the longest time. I think for a long time now, you know. It's my choice, okay? And I've never told anybody whether my children are here or there or there or there. Nobody knows where my children are. But I want to speak about this comment that comes a lot. And you guys know I've always said it, that if there's something I feel like there's a message there for people, I like to share it for the message, for somebody out there, right? For myself, I have my life planned out. You know, people can have opinions. It doesn't matter, because that day when I landed in that hospital, if I never came back, people's opinion, what would it matter? What would it mean to me? That was an eye-opener. People's opinions do not matter. But I want to speak for those that may be, okay, let me just share the story, right? There's a message there. I think people should grab something from this, and hopefully it can change a lot of lives of whoever's watching this. And this applies to men and women. But I want to speak for women specifically, because unfortunately it is us women that get this the most, right? Okay, in spite of the fact I don't talk about my children, I don't bring them on social media, you don't see them, I kept them off completely. This is my idea. Content creation is my idea. It's not my children's idea. It's my life, my choice, right? Okay, so I've chosen to make it all about me. So I started getting a comment. Okay, let me say, some people actually will ask, like, in a way, like, oh, how are you? How are your children? You know, that kind of a casual thing. Oh, how are your children? How are you doing? How are your children doing? How is the family doing? You know that. But there are people that will be like, where are your children? Do you know what I mean? That is what how it comes to us. Where are your children? Where are your children? And I have come to realize that society, for whatever reason, do not seem to recognize the fact that a woman can actually have a life. You know, the umbilical cords of children have been cut the day the children were born. Wait for it, wait for it. Now, I am one of those parents, let's say mother in this case, that I never spent a day without my children. I remember when I went to nursing school, I remember one day, the preceptor that I have is like the nurse you work under. So you're basically learning, they attach you to a nurse. So you're learning by working with the nurse. Typically, preceptors will be like, oh yeah, you can go home maybe 10 minutes earlier than normal. Sometimes maximum 30 minutes earlier than your closing time. But there was this nurse I worked with, and she basically left everything to me. And I was working and working and working. I didn't finish until like maybe 10:30 at night. My shift should have finished by 8:30, let's say 9. I finished 10:30. By the time I got home, my children had gone to bed and had gone to sleep. And I got home and realized they had gone to bed. And I just burst into tears and I was crying. And the dad was like, no, I was like, they didn't see me today because I left 5 in the morning, right? When my kids were little, right? Okay. I left 5 in the morning for my placement, that's what we call it, as a student nurse. So they didn't see me when I left. But normally I'll be like, by the time I come back, they even do see me. Because I had this thing about no day should go by without my children seeing me. Because I grew up in a broken home where my mother was not allowed access. So I missed out on my mother. And I grew up wanting that not to happen to my children. When I come here and say, if marriage no let do and couples want to go their separate ways, go your separate ways, but don't let it affect the children. It is the couple that broke up. Their children did not break up with their father or their mother. Don't deprive children. You know, I've said all of that before. And I speak from my personal experience, because the trauma of missing out from my mother, I feel like it was a big part of my life. It had a very negative effect on me, because it's not like now we have WhatsApp and Facebook. Those days, if you don't see your father or your mother, you don't see them. So it was equivalent to your parents being dead, even though they are not, but it's that they're not there. You don't see them for, okay. Now, came back from that night shift and my children had gone to sleep, and I was traumatized that they didn't see me when they woke up, and they didn't see me by the time they went to bed. And the father was like, it's okay, they'll see you in the morning. But I felt like that day was gone. I wasn't going to get that day back. And I was just crying. And I remember I hated that nurse for a long time, right? I don't know if I still hate her, but I disliked her for that, because I shouldn't have to stay after. Okay, now, so I'm one of those parents that the only time I was ever absent in my children's lives was maybe like 2 weeks. There was one time I went to Nigeria for 2 weeks, and it was difficult for me. It never happened again because I just couldn't do it, right? Okay. I'm one of those parents that, if you don't know, my children are adults. I have adult children. Only one that is not an adult. There's only one that is not up to 18 yet, but the rest are adults. Now, even when it came to children going to college, I didn't want my children schooling outside our state, because I don't want them to like live in school. I have friends that actually are living in other countries for school, or live in school and only come home once, because I've always believed that the time they have with me is now. A time would come. I've made a video in the past where I've said it, that some parents put their children in boarding house from primary school. They only see them in 2 months of the summer holidays, and then boarding house for secondary school, hostel, live in school for university, and then after university they get married, they're gone. And I'm like, what time then did they have to be father and children, mother and children? I'm not here to judge anybody, but I'm just saying I was never comfortable with it. So all my children went to school, even university education, from home to school and back, because I believe that a day would come when they will finally move out and move on, and I will no longer get to see them regularly. But now that I can, I want to enjoy it. Saying this, I'm still saying it again. I've never told anybody where my children are. I don't owe it to anyone. Okay. Now, when people started seeing that japada, I noticed this all the time. Where are your children? Where are your children? I wrote I did a bit of a writing about it. A lot of you don't know I write songs, I write poems, I put my thoughts in on paper. It's not everything I post on social media, but that time when in pidgin English they say when it is hot, when something happens, my inspiration flows from that. Inspiration flows from pain, joy, a lot of emotions will bring out my inspiration. And when it's hot, when it is hot, like when it's there, actively there, that's when I put it on paper, because if I give it time, it will fade away. This one I'm going to read to you guys is actually what's it called? It's rough. I may fix it, I may not fix it, I may leave it at this, but I put it down and it will just flowing out of me like this. So what am I about to speak about? You know, that experience have made me more conscious of exit from life. But it's not a matter of if, it's when. It is when. We're all going to exit. And as a parent, a lot of us, our dreams will be for us to be around until our children are much older, you know, that they're all settled, blah, blah, blah. But nobody is promising you that. There is no guarantee that you'll be here by the time your children are whatever. There are no guarantees we have 3 days left. There's no, even this next minute is not guaranteed. The sooner we realize it, the better. When people come all the time, where are your children? Where are your children? Where are your children? Another point I want to make is that, I won't dwell too much on it, it can be another video. It is women that get asked this question the most. People rarely ask a man, where are your children? Rarely. Like, you know that where are your children? I said, what are you doing here? You should be with your children. Where are you going? You should be with your children. Where, you japada, where are your children? Where are your children? I have adult children. Let me say this. My children are not babies. They're adult children. So the question is, at what point can a woman eventually begin to live? In the grave? At what point? I have spent the last 25 years of my life on childbearing, child raising and all of that. So it's almost like people don't seem to realize, at what point then should I actually begin to live? Like live a life that doesn't have to be like, you know, some people when they see you, they expect as a woman, a child should be hanging from one hand, the other hand, one leg, one child on your head. Like they see you on your own without children hanging in your all around you. It's like something is wrong. You understand? And I wonder what's going to happen when I die. Because I will die, you will die, we will all die. We're not taking our children along. Let me say this again. There are people that their children are still babies. You understand? You know, they are still at that delicate stage. But as a grown woman that has grown children, every single, where are your children? Someone, where are your children? Someone, where are your children? So people, like I say, when people say, how are your children? That's fine. You know, the way people can ask, how are your children? That's different. But it's not like, where are your children? Where are your children? Where? Something else I have come to realize, you know, I used to dread that. And until I have started seeing life differently and begin to prepare for it. A lot of us women, let's speak about us women, we dedicate all our lives raising children. I have dedicated all my adulthood. I started early, very early, to start having children, right? And I've spent the last 25 years all about children, right? I remember there was a time when it's still there, small, but I think I'm preparing for it. I see it and I prepare for it. You know, this idea of, wow, so one day now this children will just, you know, when they were younger, I remember I used to think to myself that, you know, so one day now, because in case you don't know, even when I went to nursing school, everything I've done has always been about my children. And that's why I chose only night shifts, because I want to be home when they come home. When they come back from school, I will come back from night shift. I will lie on the couch in the sitting room. My bed is upstairs. But the thing is, I want it to be that when they walk in, they can see me. Even if I'm asleep, they can see that I'm there. As they walk past the seat, like I want them to walk in and see that I'm there, even if I'm sleeping, for them to see me. Because I don't want it to walk home. That was why I did night shift, because I want to be there. I want to be there in their daytime. I said to myself, at night they are sleeping. So even if I go to work, when I go to work at night, it doesn't matter, because, you know, they are sleeping. They won't miss me. You understand? Okay. Did I lose my train of thought? I think I did. Now, yeah, I remember when they were younger, I always said, so one day now, these children, I will come back from night shift, I will cook, I will do everything. They will come home for lunch, eat lunch, and leave again, and all of it. Okay. And I used to think, so one day now, these children will grow up and get married and move on. And I used to dread that, because I was like, wow, what's going to happen? Because my life has always been about my children. What's going to happen when they grow up and then they leave? God, oh, you know, Unfortunately, that is another mistake that a lot of women especially make, is they don't know when to prepare themselves to begin to be, okay, they are old enough now. Begin to release the rope where you don't hold them too tight. Release it slowly. Slowly. It will be easier on you when that time comes, because you've already prepared yourself and prepared them for that day. Because believe it or not, a day would come when my children will have their own homes, their own husbands and wives. What's going to happen then? You understand? So a lot of women were never prepared for it, and then it happens. They call them, is it empty nesters, something like that. All of a sudden they don't know what to do. They never made plans for this time, because this time of their lives. And then that's when you see local gossip group, unique group, because they never prepared for it. I am preparing myself every single day, financially and otherwise, for that day when they have their own lives to go and live. So I want to say this, right? Okay, let me read to you guys the write-up that I did. When I say I did, what's it called now? Is as rough as whatever as the first day I started writing it down. It just came and the inspiration was just flowing. Let me read it to you guys. So this is what I wrote. I said, woman, where are thou children? Woman, where are thou children? Yes, she is a woman, but she used to be a girl. When she was a girl, she had the right, in quote, to just be her. It was okay to just be her. But now she's grown. Now she's a woman. She's become a mother. So she doesn't matter anymore. She wakes up early to get her children ready early. She cooks and cleans. Her job never done, because there's always more to be done. But the moment she gets a chance to take a tiny break, she went to a cafe for a muffin and tea. When they see her sitting there doing nothing, in quote, they ask, woman, where are thy children? It's been a hard month. She, as always, has worked hard, running her home, being a mother. She finally gets a little chance, just a little tiny chance, to go window shopping or buy a dress or two. How dare her leave her children at home with their father or her family or friends? She is a mother and nothing else. Now again they ask, woman, where are thy children? Things have been tough and rough for a while. She's struggling. Her mental health is struggling. Physical health, struggling. She decided to go out with her friends. Laughter, food, and good time flows as they sat and dined in a restaurant. Children at home with their father. She's getting a little break. A break her health desperately needed. But how dare her? How dare her be free from her children for even a second, even for a little while? Again they ask, woman, where are the children? Gone, gone are the days when she could simply be herself. All she is now, all they see her as, is a mother and nothing else. Finally, she's gone. Her life as she knew it is no more. A child she was, the girl she used to be, is no more. Her existence has become all about the ones whom her womb brought into existence. No one really asks how she's doing, how she's feeling. Her existence is now only about the ones her womb brought into existence. Slowly, she faded away. Mental health gone, physical health gone, emotional health gone. And that day finally comes. She's no longer in a cafe for a cup of tea, no longer at the shop for a dress or two. She's now in a box, a coffin. her existence finally and completely over, as she is lowered into the ground. A solo journey she must embark. No one goes with her, not her father, mother, or even the ones whom her womb brought into existence. And for the first time, yes, for the very first time, no one, absolutely no one is asking her, woman, where are the children? She is gone now. She's gone. Like everyone else, we will all leave this world. But she was never allowed to leave. I haven't finished writing it. And basically my message is this, people have to be careful. There is need for that balance. I'm saying this as a woman with, thank God my children are grown children. And what's it called? I can say my children are grown, independent, all of that. But even those that are children are younger, it's important to find that time, to take a break once in a while, to rest and reset as a human being. And especially for those of us that have raised children, people have to realize, we've dedicated so much part of our lives raising children that we should actually be able to start living before we leave. I think that's the best way I can end this video. I don't know what your opinions are. I wanted to quickly share it with you guys. I know I'm one of those parents that, now I talk about it with my children all the time. Especially after that experience, I do it more now. Like when I die, I don't say if, because we can die at any time. I say to my children, I think one of the worst things is not being prepared for when that time comes. I'm praying to be around for my children for a very long time, but there's that part of me that knows that it's not a right. It's a privilege. Unfortunately, it's a privilege that not everybody can, would enjoy, and I'm beginning to make the habit to say when I leave, when I die, when I go, so that way I am preparing them for the time when I will no longer be around, because that day would come, hopefully it doesn't come anytime soon. That's the prayer of all of us, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I think it's important to respect the fact that it's important for we as human beings, especially we as mothers. You can see men in the beer parlor. Nobody's asking them, where are your children? Nobody. But a woman just takes a break and go and sit outside just take one tiny break. Where are your children? Where are your children? You understand? I don't know if I arranged this video properly the way I really want people to get my message. Hopefully people get the message of what I'm trying to say. We are parents, yes. But we have to learn the importance of realizing that, life is an individual journey. We can be there for our children and everything, but at the same time, it's also important for us to, live a life. I think, hopefully my message came across properly. With that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.